And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for connecting. This is the Regen Circle happening every Thursday here with your host, Yoshi Pantera. And this is about helping each other as a community thrive for the rest of our lives. I'm just kidding. For a year at least. Definitely here every Thursday, I'm going to be talking about different, really deep topics about regenerative culture. Regenerative culture is a broad topic, a broad awareness. Got a little mic over here, making sure you hear me. Just got it. And what's happening is that every Thursday, we're going deep, starting with the pillars. Today, one of the pillars is regenerative living. Next week is regenerative education. There's 8 pillars. We're going to talk about technology, governance, economy, arts and music, as well as spirituality. This is the foundation of regenerative culture. Without these pillars, we're not aware of how the society works. So that's why we're here, to understand the pillars, how society works right now, and we're going to regenerate each aspect of our society through the pillars first. But before we even go that big in our society aspect, we start with ourselves. We start with our daily habits, our lifestyle. And that's what regenerative living is about. We cannot focus on the whole society and the whole world if we can't change ourselves first. It's like, are we starting a business? Are we starting a big project? How are we going to do that if we haven't made our bed first, or if we're not cleaning our bathroom, or if we're not doing the laundry, right? So we need to have order for us to have discipline and structure so we can flow with harmony in the society, with relationships, with businesses together. And therefore economy comes in, because relationships is economy. The better the relationships we have, the better we thrive in life, because that's what it's all about. So yes. Now, as we come in, yay, thank you for coming in, Marie Radonda. I appreciate you. We are recording this experience, making sure everyone is coming in to have this beautiful workshop and community gathering. You may know that the first half is about, hola, hola. The first half, we're going to talk about regenerative living, and then we're going to start working together, getting to know each other and getting to understand what we're here for. So yes, again, regenerative living is one of the basic foundational pillars for us to thrive. And we need to have this right so we can start growing further with our service to life. So I just started reading some Substack articles, and also some Telegram groups that I'm in. And the regenerative movement is growing so big, so fast. And I've seen a lot of people talking about regenerative living. There's people in Florida, there's people in Europe, there is also the States. And yes, it's growing really fast. They have their own way of viewing and practicing regenerative living. I've been reading some of it, and it's really nice. We align on different things, but it's not the same actually in the full sense, but it has the same essence. Yes, we are here to better our lives with our habits, with our principles, with the service that we want to be doing in this world. So with that said, regenerative living is, what are we doing in our daily lives that contributes to all life? So again, what is that one thing I do every day that I'm contributing to life? Please write it in the chat if you like, so you can practice this. This is a workshop. So what is that one thing that you're contributing for more life to exist? So let's do an example here. We have nature, the jungle. Every single element of nature has multiple functions to contribute for more life to exist. The tree is the biggest contributor. It creates habitat for a lot of species, food for a lot of species, from the leaves, the seeds, the fruits, and also for us humans, the wood, as well as shadow. And then underneath the ground, there's a mycelium network of communication between the trees, between the plants that contribute to each other. So it's really nice to understand this. And yes, so when we observe ourselves with nature, what is that we contribute with? If all the animals and all the insects and all the plants, everything contributes for all life to exist and grow together and thrive together. Of course, there's some that eat each other and all this, but there's a balance, there's a harmony. And then as humans, somehow we have created a culture that we have separated ourselves from the system of life, the cycles of life. So, yes, write down what is that one thing that you are contributing for more life to exist, so we live in harmony with nature. So you can write this in the chat. That would be nice so we can share with each other. And also you can write it on your notebook. I have a couple more questions so we can go deep on this and make sure we understand. And this is the first time we are using this platform. This is a celebration because we are live here in our new space, our warehouse, our home for the community. So I like it that they had a video service right here. I am seeing what potential it has, but I'm also seeing a few things that it needs. It's not like the biggest Zoom platform that has all kinds of features. However, it is helpful to make it easy for us to come in. So as you may know, we are a small group, about 7, 8 people registered for today's group and workshop and community gathering. Yet I don't get to talk to you guys. We get the idea is to get to engage with each other. Yet we are in the beginning phase of us growing. The big launch is going to be on June 25th for the solstice. So the importance here is that we are understanding the platform, getting to know the system, tweaking things here and there, and then we're going to become better and better on how we exchange our wisdom, our talents, so we can collaborate, so we can co-create. So this video right now is going to be recorded and it's going to be on the platform and we can access forever. Future people that are coming in are going to understand what regenerative living is through this video. And of course, we're going to have updates, new videos as well. But for now, we're going to start creating a list or a space of different amount of content of what regenerative culture is. Different pillars to different aspects, different pinpoint aspects that allows us to make sure that we are in this whole new world building together. Let me tell you an example. After the 8 pillars that we have week by week for the next 8 weeks, we got 8 pillars. We're going to start talking about specific things that the community needs. For example, I like to go deep on a topic like love. What does love mean to you? Because if we're talking about us being community right now, we want to speak the same language. So when we start engaging to each other and say, hey, what does community mean to you? What is an Ecovillage mean? What is spirituality for you and me and all of us? And we fine tune and start creating this dictionary, but we can go deep on the experiences of what does that mean. That's one of many examples of what we're going to dive into, as well as each of the pillars has also a broad awareness. Right now, we're talking about regenerative living. We can go deep on so many aspects of regenerative living. And let me tell you what it is so we can understand better. And please, I can talk a lot about it, but it's not enough time for us to go into it in just 1 hour. So what's happening is I would like to know, what is it that you understand about regenerative living? But since we are in a space where I can't hear you or listen to you, this is a first example or a experience for us to interact, then please leave it in the chat. But let me tell you what regenerative living is so you can understand. And then after a couple of questions and a couple of answers from you, I'm going to share the principles of regenerative culture that goes deep into regenerative living. So regenerative living is the reevaluation of our daily lives. Where are we in the world? Who am I? What is my purpose? Right? A little bit what we're talking about with the first question is, how am I contributing to life? Right? How am I contributing to nature and the system, the ecosystem? So regenerative living is pinpointing on every aspect of our lives. The most important one of all is our health, our body. So this can be broad as well, because what is health? What does that mean? And then when you go and research what health is or what's happening with different areas of health, there's so much information that there's bumps, right? For example, I'm just throwing it out there. Don't use the microwave because that electromagnetic field is going to be interfering with you, and then we're going to eat those waves. And there's other places that they say nothing happens. It's just a theory. Nothing's really happening there. Yet, I personally don't use it because it doesn't feel natural to me. I'm old school as well, and I've been working in so many restaurants back in the day where someone that uses a microwave is not a real cook. But that's one example. But let me tell you, going out in the supermarket, buying different foods, that can mean it's healthy or not. I can be buying organic, but where does it really come from? How organic is it? When you go deep into the research of it, we find out that it's not really organic, even if it's labeled and certified organic. They allow a certain amount of chemicals for it to survive and thrive and distribute to the whole world, because there's so much food to be produced. So in that sense, then we find out about our body and how it reacts over time. And we find out about our gut or our microbiome. How does it work? This is related to the foods we eat. All diseases, and this is what we find out with Paula. Hola, amor, thank you for being here. I have been learning so much from Paula. I thought I knew when we met, but she went really deep into nutrition and then regenerative nutrition. And we find that all diseases, all sickness, all problems of the body, of the lifestyle, comes from the way we eat. And we have allowed that automatically. We're just led to believe that whatever is being sold in the store, it's okay to eat. So that's one aspect, the food and how we react into the body. But then furthermore, when we go to sleep, when we go wake up, when we have our morning ritual, we go grounding outside. I did so much grounding today. I took the sun, vitamin D, a lot of the hours of the day, different hours of the day, I mean, which means that what's happening? What's happening when we're not connected to these sources of energy, right? I got Marie here sharing a chat. To start my day, connect with nature. Yes. I love stepping outside barefoot. Yes. Grounding on the sunrise, kickstarting my circadian rhythm. Amazing. And drinking filtered, structured hydrogen water with septic sea salt. Yes. Thank you so much. That's the basic for us to start our day, because we think that we just feed ourselves from food, and it's not only about that. So thank you, Marie, for sharing. I appreciate you. So why is this important? We're animals. The circadian rhythm is real. The moment they gave us the watch, boom, we depended the time on the watch. We lost track of time. The moment the watch was created, we lost track of time. The moment they created the Gregorian calendar, they separated us from the cycles of life, from the solstice, from the equinox, from the 13 moon cycle. And then we got the light bulb, right? Since we got the light bulb, we stay up so late and we have a lot of light, 7 p.m. and it's full bright in the whole house, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., still bright. And then the screens and everything. That can't happen. I mean, it's happening, but it really messes up our neurons on the brain, on the eyes, and a whole connection. And then we can't sleep well. And then we feel tired the next day. And then we can't concentrate. And we get distracted. And we have this procrastination problem around the world. So there's basic stuff. Living a regenerative life is living a basic lifestyle. And by living a basic lifestyle, we are solving most of the world's problems. Just like that. By going out and receiving the sun. And since you're out there, you want to start gardening, right? Because the most quality, best food we can get is the one that we plant ourselves. So I was talking with my family here the other day, and we were like, oh, yeah, I'm suggesting, right? Let's eat the best food, the best food. And what happens is that not just my family, but most society, we like the quality products. We like the quality microphone. We like the quality pictures, the quality house, the best quality technology, the computer, the phone. We want the best quality bed. We want the best quality car, the best quality clothes. But what about the food? We want to save money. Oh, it's expensive. Oh, organic food is really expensive. No. What's happening? So we want to reevaluate what is it that we want to value. So really important. Starting from there, regenerative living is connecting to our essence, connecting to our life, connecting to the cycles of life through the timing of the moon and sun, going outside, listening to the birds. Everything feeds us, right? The sun, the air, the sounds of nature, the wind, the grounding. Everything is vibration and frequency and colors, and all of that feeds us. And then the people as well. So we want to make sure we're surrounded by quality people. So also feeding ourselves means that, oh, I'm going to start driving in the car and then I'm listening to the radio and the music. Yeah, it's cool. And then the news. But wait, why do that right first thing in the morning? Let's pause and just appreciate the silence and take your time. That's part of regenerative living, the essence, the beginning of it. And then what else? We start buying at the supermarket. No, I don't want to buy in the supermarket. I'm giving money to these big corporations that I'm not getting the best quality food. So I want to start using my money with the local farmers, the local businesses. You may already be doing this. This is part of regenerative living because now we're entering regenerative economy, which is one of the pillars. But so we're talking about different parts of different pillars in the broader sense, but also in the self sense, right? A regenerative business. I want to start a regenerative business, which means that maybe a restaurant, maybe a clothing store. And I want to make sure it's regenerative. It's supporting nature. It's supporting health. This is a linen shirt. So it's giving me health. It's a vibrating shirt, right? So that's also part of a regenerative lifestyle. We want to talk about regenerative governance, right? How am I living in my house? How am I communicating? How am I making decisions with my husband and wife and my parents or my children? Am I dictating it, or am I opening up so we can make the decisions together? We can create together. That's part of a regenerative lifestyle, right? If you're living by yourself, awesome. How about making friends with the neighbors? Say hello. What's their name? Where did they work? And how you guys can do a garden together, right? So that's a regenerative lifestyle as well. Now, what else? Technology. We have technology. I'm using a computer that's about 10 years old. I've been updating it with hardware and things like that. I don't have to be buying over and over a new computer. That's a regenerative habit. Same thing with the phone. Old phone coming back, making sure it works, buying a used one perhaps, and reducing the amount of negative impact that we have in the world. The car, right? The car, if we're driving all the time, make sure that we know where we're going. And if we go out, we want to make sure that everything is done in one trip, right? We got used to the GPS so much that we lost track of direction, right? So now a lot of people, and this is surprising, you may fall into this, and I'm not judging. You get out, put the address, and boom, you don't see where you're going. You just go. And when we don't see where we're going, we can even be having a whole loop, or maybe we have to do 3 stops instead of like making a whole beautiful, short, efficient route. We start making turns and turning around, making circles, and wasting energy, wasting time, wasting gas, right? And all of that. So that's an aspect. Buying an electric car, is it regenerative? Not as much. It's a lot to debate on that because of the batteries. It's lithium. It's a lot of production to make that, and all the electricity is making all that happen. So it's good to understand what's happening with that. I'm gonna pause here for a second. We got Paula saying in the chat, to live with loving presence, it's respectful relationship with all living things, to live in our true sacred nature, to make energy purposeful for all sentient beings. Yes. So it's what we're talking about is how to be as present as possible with our consciousness expanded, that every single decision and action, is it benefiting all life? Yes, it's benefiting me for now. Is it also benefiting life? So the question 1, 2, or 3 times, if you're going to buy a product, if you're going to make a decision to do something, does it benefit me truly? And does it benefit all life? So I want to ask myself 1, 2, 3 times to make sure it's truthful, it's regenerative. And sometimes we don't have to be so strict. Sometimes I find myself in the supermarket. Let's say I go to Whole Foods. It's something kind of regenerative in terms of some farmers sell their stuff there, but it's not the best option because it's part of Amazon, and Amazon is not the most regenerative, and you know why. Or Sprouts. Sprouts is a cool store. It's really nice. I like Sprouts to become, in terms of supermarket, is not the best option either because you want to have direct connection with the farmers or the small producers, the small businesses, even if it's more expensive. And I'm going to talk to you more about that in a second. So what's happening is we want to understand that there is ways how to make the decisions without stress. For example, I'm going to the supermarket, I'm going to buy apples, and they're organic. And then there's a bag of organic apples, and they're both the same price. Apples without a bag, apples with a bag, with a plastic bag. I don't want to make trash, right? We already have my bags with me, and I don't want to make trash. So I'm gonna get the ones without without the bag. But wait, the apples that are organic without the bag are from another country, far, far away. And the ones that are local have a bag, and I'm like, what? What's happening? And what decision do I make there? Because I want to buy local organic food, but it comes with a plastic bag, which the plastic bag comes from some type of exploitation of petroleum, maybe from Ecuador where I'm from, and then the ink that has that bag comes from another source of factory that's also contaminating, and then the transportation to get all that going on. So how can I measure that? How can I make the best choice? And then I just close my eyes and I do. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what to do. Sometimes I get one, sometimes I get the other, so, or don't get any of them all. Do I really need the apples right now? I'm just gonna get one here, one, maybe no bag, just one, maybe I just two. That's it. I'm going. I'm out of here. And I really do my best on not spending a lot of time making that choice and just quick, without stressing, without feeling bad about myself. It just move forward, right? So that's an example of many of how to make the choice when we come across the most regenerative or the least regenerative. And if I'm not perfect, it's okay, right? So moving forward, there's different areas that we want to be aware of when it comes to a regenerative lifestyle. Everything could be regenerative. Everything from our surrounding environment can be a regenerative act of service to life. This decision and action that I'm doing right now, is it serving life, right? So with that said, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and then I'm going to jump into the principles so we can even go deeper on everything we just talked about, okay? So the first question is, again, well, the first one was, what is that one thing I'm doing every day that supports life, that creates conditions for more life to exist? What is that one thing? I just named a bunch, but what is that one thing that you resonate the most, that you enjoy doing, that you really feel that you're contributing? So Maria already shared. Please share if you like as well. Because the best thing we can do for all life, for all the existence, for all the planet, for all, everything, is taking care of our body, our health, be our best version every time, making sure we're growing. That's the best thing we can do. The most basic one. Now, from there, how we can move forward or expand that outwards. Okay. So you can write down in your notebook, you can write in the chat, it's fine. Now, the next question you can write down here as well is, what is regenerative living for you now that you have that understanding? You don't have to answer right now, but what is regenerative living for you right now? You can answer it later after the call. You can answer some of it right now and then later finish it. Okay. And the third question, where in your life do you feel you are within regenerative living? And you can scale that from 1 to 10. Where in your life do you feel you are in a regenerative living path? We can always do better, right? But in your consciousness, in your awareness, where do you feel you are? I have my number, and I'm never going to be a 10 because I always want to improve. But I feel I have enough experience to have a good percentage of a number. So I ask this question because now you can observe yourself first of where you are and what areas you want to improve. Because I can be sharing all this information, then we're going to go to the principles, and you're going to understand the pillars the next week and the week after and the months after, because a whole year of regenerative living and regenerative training, so we can become the best leaders for our lives and leaders for others as well, to activate our powerful essence that is dormant for a lot of us in the world. So with that said, write that question down, put a number, and we go back to it later. Okay. So I'm going to share the principles. It's 6:28 here in Florida. I'm in Florida right now. And I want to take a little break here, saying hello to Karen Murphy. Thank you for being here, hermana. I appreciate you. We got Michelle, I'm sure that's MJ Canning. Michelle, thank you, sister from Australia. By the way, I want to connect with you with someone that I just met that is lovely. She wants to do a matriarchal community. Amor, Pola, hola mi amorcito, gracias por estar aquí. Radonda, I appreciate you, hermana, for being here. Radonda is going to be helping us with next week's topic is regenerative education. And that's a deep topic and very important one because it's all about the next generations, right? So stay tuned for that one. If you can make it amazing, if you can bring people as well, awesome. And yes. And hello, Marie, again. Thank you for being here all the way from the UK. I appreciate you. We had other people sign up and they haven't showed up. So I want to talk to you about this specifically and what's going to happen on the workshops and gatherings that we're doing every week. The Regen Circle. The Regen Circle is awesome because we come together and it's going to be amazing each time, better and better. More community engagement. I like this live session with this platform. Yet I'm going to bring the other one in again so we can all talk and get to know each other more and feel the community more, right? And this is a first experience. I didn't know it's that limited, but it's okay. And it helps me practice so I can manage and hold the energy for about 45 minutes to an hour. And you guys are awesome for being here and engage with me and making sure we're moving forward with this amazing process. Again, we're in the early phase before we launch to the public. So that means we're fine-tuning things here and there with you as part of the founding members. Thank you so much. As well as understanding the process of what's happening in the next coming weeks. So today is regenerative living. The next week is regenerative education. And we're going to bring people to come join us for the events for free only for 2 weeks. For example, I'm letting you know so you can bring more people too, so they can have this engagement with us and be part of the movement, be part of the community. Yet, I am letting and allowing and opening this for free just for 2 weeks because when it's for free forever, we don't commit. And there's a saying that is getting really popular out there. If we don't pay some money, we don't pay attention. And therefore, that's what's happening. So a lot of people have signed up for many of our webinars throughout the years and groups and events, even live, even in person. And there's a lot of free gatherings that I've hosted and building community in person. A lot of people say they're going to come and they don't come. A lot of people that I didn't know they were going to come. That's cool too. Yet there's a lot of energy involved for us to produce these events and to bring attention and to have communication and all that. And when there is commitment apparently, and then they don't show up, it's not cool a little bit. And I don't want that to continue happening. So that's why we are giving a little taste first of what to expect with one of the events. And then after the 2 weeks, after 2 events, after 2 Regen circles, they can sign up for the whole year or for the monthly. And yes, that's why I want to highlight. So you know about what's happening is like, okay, I sign up for the membership, the founding membership, and we're having some free events open to the public. And that's okay. I'm not opening all for free. It's just for us to have a little, give a little taste to our community out there so they know what's up. That's it. That's the little break here right now. Thank you very much for listening on that update. Now we're going to move forward to the regenerative culture principles. Have any of you read the regenerative culture principles? I've been sharing on emails. I've been sharing in the Telegram. I've been sharing also here in the platform that it's linked up. Have you read one, maybe two? Have you read the whole thing? Please let me know in the chat so I know what is up. Paula is sharing corazonar, to meditate and feeling Dios amor. God love is Dios amor. Is my first act to regenerate so that my subsequent decisions will be better aligned with the Great Spirit. Yes. Gracias, amor mío. Marie, she read the whole thing. Karen, thumbs up. Maybe you read the whole thing. Maybe you get a little skim of it. Awesome. So this is important. Now, we as an individual want to live based on values and principles, ethics. We need structure. We need to understand what are we here for and how to make the best decisions for our life, and therefore how to move forward. And when we have that, then we can share it with our family, we can share it with our community, and that lasts even generations. And that's what we're building here, damas y caballeros, familia. We are building a culture. We are reevaluating our ancestry culture, taking away what is not working for us anymore, bringing in new things for these modern times, and honoring and respecting, of course, our ancestors and merging in through what we feel is right from the heart. And therefore, building, regenerating the culture, building a system that lasts generations. Let me tell you a little story about that real quick before the principles. I went to Canoa Manaví with Paula. We lived for a whole year in the organic farm. Maybe you read this in one of the emails. So what happened is that being there, living and understanding and feeling the energy of a 35-year-old farm from the couple that lives currently in New Zealand, they're an older couple. They can't handle basically the full farm on their own anymore, so they're selling it. So Paula and I want to buy it, and we're building community to purchase that land. It has food, forest, gardens. Is nice. It needs, of course, investment. It has some old cabins and all these beautiful things. It has its challenges as well. Yet, what really felt deep inside of me is the ancient cultures that used to live there. It's actually a matriarchal culture, and it's the Valdivia culture that's run by women. What's special about this, it's 6,000 years old, way before the Egyptians. 6,000, one of the earliest recorded cultures, communities ever found. So what happens is that their culture was so rooted in that area that then the Spanish came, got colonized, of course, massacre, right? They also had war within the Incas and the Mayas. There a lot was going on. The culture was so rooted that there's still traces of that culture after 6,000 years. Can you believe that? So that's the importance of culture. That culture was the first ever found culture that used to do agriculture, that used to grow their own food. Most of the indigenous cultures around the world are hunters and gatherers. This culture were producing their own food. They were using water from the ocean. They were using the hills from the coast. And last thing I want to say, they were understanding the climate. There was emergence of the tropical south tropical humid climate and the tropical dry climate, and that diversity of beings and species, plants and animals from one climate and from the other climate merged, and it was abundant. I was experiencing it. I can imagine how it used to be back then, but now, like, even it's a lot of it's they're certified in the surroundings, it was still very diverse. So wow, that's so beautiful to understand and value, right? That's the power of culture. That's the power of our decisions and actions. My decision and action, the food I eat, the clothing I use, the music I listen to, the language I speak, establishes a pattern, establishes the culture, because we all are sharing this together. So that's what's important. That's what we want to be aware of. Yay! Now we're going to share that regenerative culture principles. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I am going to pinpoint so we can understand what it is, because you can interpret it in different ways. And again, these principles are not rules for you to be obligated to be doing this. The importance of community is communication and feedback. So with that said, if there's something that you don't resonate, let's talk about it. Let's fine tune it. Let's harmonize it for this community. You can take these principles and use it in your community, your family, and take whatever works for you. And you can also tweak it and making sure that it works for you and your family, right? So I trust you are watching right now. So regenerative culture principles. We start with the number one, love and respect. Quote, love and respect is the path to the creation of our reality. Love and respect to all beings from Mother Earth, stars and galaxies. Every being and element in our surrounding environment, known and unknown, visible or not visible, deserves love and respect for its existence. The connection and relationship with other beings helps us become aware and mindful of how all our daily decisions and actions affect the world around us. Example, practicing a lifestyle where human decisions and actions actually benefit all life forms, such as spiritual and personal development with healthy habits, reducing consumption, is starting a garden, to practicing anti-speciesism and animal liberation, starting an eco-community and a permaculture design eco-city can impact positively to the regeneration of all life and future generations. Quote, love and respect is the path to the creation of our reality. And it comes back right here. So powerful. And we want to understand that there is no love if there's no respect. If I don't respect my bola, my love of my life, how can I love? How can we love each other if we don't respect each other? If we don't honor each other? How can we love if there's no trust? Right? There's ingredients for us to feed love. Right? And love, what is love? And then we go deep, because we can have this principle, but then when we're in a community, we want to make sure we are talking the same language of what is love. And as a community, to make a decision through sociocracy, which is amazing, we rewrite the principles word by word, space and comma and period. Everything, every single detail of the whole principle, we would rewrite it together. Okay. So if there's something, a phrase, a vibration, something that doesn't resonate, let us know and we can talk about it and see what happens. So with that said, a lot of people resonate with all the principles. I mean, everyone resonates with all the principles so far since 2014, when we started with Paula using these principles written by us with no AI and anything. But the first principle, there's something in there that a lot of people don't resonate with. And you might have seen anti-speciesism and animal liberation. I didn't put there veganism, because that a lot of people read, I used to have that word there, read that and they're like, what? So there's a bump, and I want to honor and respect your decisions and what you eat, no judgment. And from all the principles, this part is the one that creates dissonance with the people in the relationships we talk about when we go deep. So you want to reevaluate that within yourself, okay? For us, love, I can't love animals and then eat them. I just can't do that. That's me. I choose how to evolve. I realize I can choose how I want to evolve. So I decided to not eat animals anymore, even though eating a bone broth soup is good for you, it's healthy. Even if the honey is healthy for you, it's medicine. Even if it really gives you energy, and the fat of the pig is really good for you, for your cartilages. I choose to not use the animals for my health and my evolution. And I respect and honor what you choose. And these are the principles that we wrote based on that. So this is important to understand when you reevaluate your principles, making sure that you get every aspect and every detail correct for yourself, because we don't want to have bumps within our mind and self-sabotage and overall you want to be coherent. We want to be coherent. And I'm going to talk about coherence more later. And maybe you already heard about this before. So anti-speciesism, you might have not heard that word before, or maybe you have. Speciesism. Let me share real quick. What is racism for you? Racism. What is classism? What is sexism? So racism is discrimination by the color of the skin. Classism, discrimination by the class, how much money and how much access you have to resources. Sexism, discrimination of the gender. Speciesism, discrimination of the species. So discrimination of species looks like we have dogs and cats here, and we all love the dogs and cats. But what about the rest of the animals? The cows, the pigs, the horses, the ducks, the chickens, the hamsters. In Ecuador, they eat hamsters, by the way. Right? There's the whales that they're put in these water parks. There's the zoos. They capture all these animals, wild animals, and they put them in the zoos. So, speciesism. And that's where animal liberation comes in. And I see that someday in the world, in the future, the world will be free when the animals are free. That's how I see it. And I don't want to impose anything of this to anyone. I don't really talk about this, actually. I just share the principles. And then when we come into a circle, we talk about it if someone asks. That's it. I don't say anything. So with this case right now, it's very important that I'm sharing, because specifically with this community, because this community is, we're rooting something really important here for future generations. So I want to clarify and highlight this area of all the principles. Okay, thank you. If you do have questions, if you do have a comment, you can share on the chat. You can also send me a private DM and we can go deep on this. I'm gonna go to a few more. We got 6:46 right now on the time. A few more minutes before we go. Regenerative health. The habits you choose will enhance your evolution. I'm gonna share screen right now. When loving yourself, you value your health. The quality of energy and the quality of health is essential to be alive, productive and full of joy. Activate your full potential from the essence of your body, mind, and soul, from quality nutrition, herbalism, energetic cleansing, to biodecoding reprogramming, sacred sexuality, martial arts, meditations, spiritual practices, and other forms of energetic frequency movements that enhances human health and well-being. The habits you choose will enhance your evolution. And this is number 2. Why number 2? Because health is the most important of all. Love, and then health, our body. And we want to do everything we can to make sure we have the best quality health practices to optimize our health consistently. So martial arts is something I love. And another aspect is the nutrition. Another aspect is meditation. So we can align body, heart, gut. It's all one. The more we do this, the more clarity, the more focus, the more creativity. So the importance of regenerative health can expand so wide, so much, to sacred sexuality even. And this is deep. You might be familiar with that, but a highlight about this is that most of the world is being controlled not from birth, because from birth they control us. The moment we're birthing in a hospital and getting a number and cutting our ombligo, they're just handling us brusquely and becoming part of the system from the moment we're birthed, and we even fall into depth from the moment we are getting born. In Espanol, we say dar a luz, to give light. To give birth is to give light. We're giving light. So a regenerative way to do that is, okay, let's do it in a pool, in a warm, beautiful pool at home, or in a river, right? With your family, and not these doctors and all that kind of stuff, which I'm sure they're good at some things, but it doesn't have to be that way. So cold. But we're not controlled only from birth. We're controlled prior to that, from the moment we are being conceived. The relationships of our parents, the energy they bring together for us to be born, for us to be conceived and then born. Are we being conceived with full love, or is it more just pleasure, right? What is that energy that we are being created with, right? So sacred sexuality is to reevaluate that, and that's part of health of myself, health of humanity. One of the biggest things here is to heal our relationships with our family, our mother, our father, our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, our uncles, whoever we lived with, our grandparents, and our kids. If you have kids, making sure from an early age we have a great relationship, so we don't go with all the traumas for 30, 40 years, right? And of course, traumas are good. Yes, I've learned that the traumas has been a university of itself for me. And thank you for the traumas. I'm the person I am. Thank you. But does it have to be that way? It could be different, right? Okay, let's do one more and we're going to be done here. Okay. Initiative and trust. The power of love lies in self-trust. Be confident to take the step forward in life, to love yourself first. Trust yourself more than anyone. Love yourself unconditionally. Observe yourself consistently and be kind to yourself. Loving yourself doesn't mean to allow yourself to abuse pleasures. When in community, use your self-trust to activate your inner leadership power, to get things done collectively. Done collectively. You don't have to wait for someone to ask you to do something to do it. Become consistent with initiatives and establish a high level of trust with the self and with your community. The power of love lies in self-trust. So there's a frequency. Trust is around us, all over the place. I trust the universe. I trust myself. I trust that it's happening. It's similar to faith. Faith, for me, a lot of people like faith. Paula likes faith. Faith is not too complete for me, and each person can have their own way to see this. I trust myself. I trust what I'm doing. I trust that when I go over there, the universe is going to synchronize to what is going to happen for me to complete whatever, and whatever happens, even if it's that unexpected, it has to happen for me to learn something in order to make something beautiful for this world to be, right? So when we're in community, the more we trust, the more we can evolve different, even with telepathy. And I like to say this as an example. When we play soccer, if you play a sport as a team, there's a high level of telepathy because we pass the ball and we even without looking. And I already know my brother there is over there, and I just throw the ball without looking, and I already knew he was gonna be there, and boom, he was there, and he made the goal. Right? It's an example. So trust is very important, self-trust, and taking initiative in the community. All of the principles here are interconnected a little bit with the other, a little bit with the other, like a chain. One complements the other, like a chain. And it's solid, it's unbreakable. Yeah. So that's what's important. So thank you very much for joining us today on the Regenerative Living Group Circle, the Regen Circle. This is a workshop community experience. And I want to share that it's not only about these circles for us to take action. Next one is going to be a lot cooler because we're going to talk to each other and we're going to make it happen. So it's not just me speaking here like a monologue and making all this happen. So what I want to do is invite you to come to be part of the detox program. Next Wednesday, we're going to do a webinar to talk more about it. So if you're part of this community already, it's included a 7-day detox program for the solstice. It's for free. Just because you're part of this community in the early stage. We've been doing this every solstice and every equinox. And I want you to be part of it because we cannot serve the world if we're not having a clean body. So please make this happen. If it's not with us, do it on your own. If you have been doing it on your own, keep doing it. Awesome. Marie is here asking what times of day will the calls for the detox program be held? Great question. So depending on who is in the group, we can adjust that time. And it has been different for different groups. Sometimes 8 p.m. at the latest. That's the latest one for us, 8 p.m. our time. It has been 5, it has been 4. It could be in the morning as well. It can be on the weekend. It's 7 days every day. The calls are 7 days every day. It's not an obligation to be on the call, but it's highly recommended because it's about accountability, it's about action, it's about community, feeling each other, witnessing each other's growth, sharing, being vulnerable, because it gets emotional as well for some of us. You know, we're cleaning and things move around and everything moves around and we open up. So it's important to understand that. So yes, be part of that. I highly recommend it. We're also having our seed retreat on August 20th to the 30th. It's 11-day in Ecuador. That's a deep dive of a community lifestyle. Imagine all of us living a regenerative life in our own homes, but then we come together in the physical sense, and it's so amazing. So I want to invite you there as well and hug you. And maybe you don't like hugs, but I'm going to show you how to hug and how to feel hugs because a lot of people don't like hugs. Why? And more great stuff. So stay tuned. Please stay connected. Ask us all the questions you want. And yes, it's our big launch week for our PMA. Wow. That's a private membership association. You're doing something amazing, sister. However, I am very intrigued and would love to join the detox with you guys. Yes, let's do it. It's not about creating more work for us. It's about alleviating all the heavy weight from all the things we have to do. I have to do here, I have to do. But when we're in a community, just makes it easier. So when we're fine-tuned with a detox, for example, a structure, everything just flows because when we give love to ourselves and health to ourselves, everything else falls into place. That's in my experience, at least. So thank you very much, hermanos, hermanas. I appreciate you. I love you. I love myself. Let's stay connected. Please be activated on our new platform, our new home. Next week is regenerative education. I'm going to bring the other platform for us to engage further and have fun. because that's what it's about. Peace, love, prosperity. Thank you, Marie. Thank you, Paula, Amor Mío, Karen. Thank you for connecting. Michelle, Radonda, muchas gracias. I'll see you next time. Peace, love, and prosperity. Yeah, yeah. Un abrazo. Besos. Chao, chao.